The featherweight division of the UFC has been one of the most exciting weight classes in recent years. It features a diverse range of fighters with unique styles and abilities, and the division has produced some of the most thrilling fights in UFC history. The depth of talent in the weight class is astonishing. From established champions like Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway to rising stars like Yair Rodriguez and Giga Chikadze, the division is packed with skilled fighters who are capable of putting on thrilling performances. Two names keep coming up when featherweight dominance is discussed: Alexander Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez. Volkanovski is an Australian professional mixed martial artist. He began his combat sports journey as a rugby player and later transitioned to MMA in 2012. He made his professional MMA debut in 2012 and quickly amassed an impressive record of 19 wins, with only one loss. He's fought in various promotions in Australia, including the Australian Fighting Championship, AFC, and the Hex Fight Series, before signing with the UFC in 2016. In his UFC debut, Volkanovski defeated Japanese fighter Yusuke Kasuya via TKO in the second round. He then went on to win his next 6 fights in the UFC, including victories over notable fighters like Jeremy Kennedy, Darren Elkins, and Chad Mendes. In 2019, he faced off against the long-reigning featherweight champion Max Holloway at UFC 245. Volkanovski defeated Holloway via a unanimous decision to become the new UFC featherweight champion. Volkanovski successfully defended his title in a rematch against Holloway in July 2020 at UFC 251. He then faced off against Brian Ortega in March 2021 at UFC 260, winning via a unanimous decision to retain his featherweight title. He is known for his well-rounded skills. He strikes like a champ, grapples like a gorilla on steroids, and wrestles like a python. He's tough, and he's resilient, and his impressive cardio and conditioning allow him to maintain a high pace throughout his fights. At UFC 284, Volkanovski faced off against Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title. Both fighters came into the fight with impressive records, but it was Makhachev who emerged victorious. The fight began with Makhachev looking to take things to the ground, while Volkanovski tried to keep the fight standing. The first round was largely dominated by Makhachev. He took Volkanovski down and controlled him on the ground for much of the round. Volkanovski came back strong in the second round. He utilized his striking to keep Makhachev at bay and stay on his feet. Makhachev landed some solid shots of his own, including a powerful right hand that momentarily stunned Volkanovski. In the third round, both fighters went all out. Volkanovski wanted to finish the fight. Despite a valiant effort, though, it was Makhachev who landed the more significant strikes. In the end, the judges scored the fight in favor of Makhachev. Following the fight, Volkanovski expressed disappointment in his performance. He said he was unable to implement his game plan effectively. He also made headlines for his comments about Makhachev's weight, stating that he felt Makhachev was too big for the lightweight division. Yair Rodriguez is a Mexican professional mixed martial artist. In his UFC debut, Rodriguez faced off against Leonardo Morales at UFC 180 in Mexico City. He won the fight via unanimous decision and quickly became the talk of the town. Over the next few years, Rodriguez put together a series of impressive victories. This includes a memorable performance against MMA veteran BJ Penn at UFC Fight Night 103. He also earned a reputation for his flashy and unorthodox fighting style, which incorporates acrobatic techniques and spinning kicks into his striking arsenal. In 2018, Rodriguez faced off against Frankie Edgar in the main event of UFC 211. Despite being a heavy underdog, Rodriguez put on a dominant performance, outstriking Edgar for much of the fight before ultimately winning via TKO in the second round. Rodriguez's momentum was slowed when he was suspended for 6 months in 2019, though. This is after testing positive for a banned substance. He returned to the octagon in 2020, defeating Jeremy Stephens via unanimous decision. Rodriguez is known for his dynamic striking and ability to finish fights with a variety of techniques. He holds notable victories over fighters such as Chan Sung Jung, Dan Hooker, and Alex Caceres. In a recent interview with MMA Fighting, Rodriguez stated that he is ready to face any challenger, and he specifically included Volkanovski. He added that he doesn't believe a unification elimination bout is necessary to establish his status as the top fighter in the featherweight division. He remains open to fighting Volkanovski, but doesn't see the need. Rodriguez also emphasized that he is focused on defending his title against any challenger, regardless of their current ranking or status within the division. He underlined that he's not afraid of anyone. He gets into the octagon to defend his title against whoever the UFC puts in front of him. Despite his confidence, Rodriguez acknowledged that a potential matchup with Volkanovski would be a significant challenge. Volkanovski is currently regarded as one of the top fighters in the featherweight division and has amassed an impressive record in the UFC. Alexander Volkanovski has expressed his willingness to face Yair Rodriguez, but he's also in no rush to make it happen. He believes he has other challenges to overcome in the division before a potential matchup with Rodriguez. Volkanovski recently said that he respects Rodriguez as a fighter, but he believes that there are other top contenders in the division that he must face first. He wants to defend his title against the top contenders and hold that flag for Australia and New Zealand first. His comments suggest that he is focused on defending his title against the best fighters in the featherweight division, regardless of their current ranking or status. He's emphasized a couple of times and on various platforms that he wants to represent his home countries and establish himself as one of the greatest featherweights of all time. Despite his willingness to face Rodriguez in the future, Volkanovski acknowledged that a potential matchup with the Mexican fighter would be a challenge. Rodriguez has established himself as one of the top fighters in the division. He has a unique fighting style, and his UFC record is impressive. He acknowledges that Rodriguez is a tough fighter, one that presents a lot of challenges, but he remains confident in his ability to beat him or any other fighter in the division. When the time comes, he'll be ready to step into the octagon. So clearly, there is no rush on either fighter's side, and both are more than open to a potential matchup. At least, that's what they say. But we get the impression that both fighters are rather hesitant to face off against each other. Even so, the featherweight division remains ultra exciting. There are diverse ranges of fighting styles on display. Some fighters rely on striking to dominate their opponents. Others use grappling and wrestling to control the fight on the ground. Each matchup is unique, with fighters looking to impose their game plan and exploit their opponent's weaknesses. The unpredictability of each matchup makes for exciting fights that can go either way, with fighters adapting to the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents in real time. Overall, the featherweight division of the UFC is a thrilling weight class that continues to produce nail-biting fights and showcase some of the best talents in the sport. Now, somebody just has to convince Rodriguez and Volkanovski to step up. We'll catch you in the next video, folks.